Hey, Derek.
Trey?
Man, it's episode, I think, 41 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast, and the week has arrived. It is time for the East Coast side of the Supercross series to kick off, which means our man, Rylan Munson, is going to show his wares this week.
He is, and he better go out there and do his job.
Hey, he's going to go do his job. So we actually have Rylan on with us today, and Derek and I are going to run through A2, talk about actually a fun night of racing. It was dry, and I think that's the most important thing. It was dry.
Yeah, finally a good dry race.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Detroit.
Let's
Get
talk
that
about
ready
Detroit.
to go, and
yeah.
then Rylan can do what he needs to do, and
Yeah.
he's a busy guy.
Well, Rylan, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks you guys for having me. This is cool. I know last time I called in, but I like this FaceTime a little better. I can see you guys a little better.
How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Oh, yeah.
Please tell me you packed warm clothes, because I looked at the forecast, and boy, it's going to be cold outside.
I haven't packed yet, but when I pack, I'll pack warm clothes.
Ooh, man. 26 for a low, 38 for a high. Oh.
I thought it was supposed to be sunny, so that's a plus. At least it's not going to be all gloomy and snowy like last year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not gonna help you in the stadium any if it's sunny. I mean, they got their
True.
little skylights, but I don't think your sun's coming through.
True.
So Michelle told me, she's like, hey, I know we're parking across the street, and as soon as they open the gates, I'm going inside, and I will see you when you tell me it's time to go home. How does Josie handle her part of it?
Yeah, well, thankfully the pits are inside. And from the pits, you just walk into the stadium. You don't ever have to go outside. So Josie doesn't mind it. It's just the unloading and the loading, but she just hangs out. Actually, last year she was a champ and she helped me in the freezing cold. It was horrible last year, but it'll be a little better this year.
Well, you got a small crew that'll help you do all that this year. So
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna
Be
get
awesome.
it knocked out. But as far as prep goes, you've been looking at the first 4 rounds, and you kind of seen what the competition looks like. And I don't know how many guys are kind of in your boat that are going to jump in now as we go to Detroit. But what are you thinking?
Well, it was really hard to tell for those two mutters. I feel like really it was mainly the first or the two Anaheims that were the main ones to watch for any, to get anything really. I don't know. I really don't have many thoughts yet, except for that 450 class is stacked. That's it. I mean, you're seeing guys that could be top 10, sometimes be in the LCQ. If you don't get a good start, it's rough. It's definitely going to be difficult, but shoot, I mean, I'm here for it. It's what we do.
So Derek, I got a question for you. I was looking at the track map. Have you ever seen a track with 0 90-degree corners on it?
No, not that I can think of, really. It's all like 180s.
This track is all now. There's a couple of big arcing ones.
Off the start, there's a 90-degree turn.
that start, but they're only hitting that one time. But
they come back around it.
But it's a huge horseshoe.
I mean, I guess you could give it a 180, but it's technically like 290s.
A massive 180.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be guys that arc it, and there's going to be guys that will probably cut it and try to block off the corner and make it a 90. But it's a big arcing. But it's 4 left-handers and 2 right-handers, basically.
Yeah, Detroit's always a compact track style. I know a couple years they went up into the stadium and up into the bleachers and stuff. That I always like it when they do that. The last time we were there, that's what they did. They had a big 180 that went up and back down. I enjoy when they do that or go out of the stadiums like Sam Boyd. But this year looks pretty tight and technical. It's definitely going to be for you guys. It's going to be a slower pace, I think. And then they got a whole whoop section, an entire section that's nothing but whoops.
Yeah, but only one set of whoops. So that's
one set of whoops is a big plus. So how you feeling about that?
Good, honestly. I feel a lot better in the whoops than I did on my 250. And it was like I was telling you yesterday, like I'm not scared. So it's like go out there and just hit them. I I don't think they're going to be anything major. The whoops in Detroit last year were they made them and everyone was crashing, so then they mellowed them out a little bit. And I was listening to something, and I do think they're doing way better this year with trying to keep things more safe. Because the more people that get hurt, the worse it is for viewing and the sport and just everything in general. So I don't know. I mean, I've been riding big whoops. I've been riding, peaky, rutted, rough tracks. So I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. I think it's going to be good. I think the floor plan of that stadium is kind of small. So, I mean, I know it's a typical football field, but it just seems a little bit smaller than some other stadiums.
Yeah,
So
that track seems a lot smaller.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. Like, Detroit's always tight and technical. It's just, it's a much more compact stadium where, like, a lot of the other ones, you have very large end zone area. Or, I'm not a football person by any means, but you have like larger end zone
Are you kidding
areas.
me? You're not a football person?
No.
Oh, I never knew that.
So, like, they usually have a lot more floor space where Detroit's pretty confined.
Yeah.
Even the whole stadium itself is confined. Like, it's you've never been there?
I'm going as a tourist this time.
So, Trey will be there with Rylan this weekend, by my wife's choice. But it's real steep inside the stadium. I mean, it's really tight. But we're a little late this week because Rylan and I did some testing yesterday, and worked on some starts, and
I slept on Monday.
Yeah. Trey was a little busy with the
24 hours. Yeah, Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. I was on a pit crew for Vassar Sullivan Factory Lexus, which, by the way, was hilarious. Someone was throwing out their interview at A2, and they were like, "Yeah, I want to thank Vassar Toyota," and I was like, "Oh wait, I just work for them." So it was kind of weird, but no, yeah. So we are a little late, but we're gonna try to get this knocked out while we're on the road.
That's
and,
all for good reason. I mean, there's a lot going on this weekend. Rylan's gonna make his 450 debut here in Detroit, so it's gonna be fun. But other than that, like we talked yesterday, it's all tunnel vision from here on out. And other than that, is there anything else that's making you a little weary, or you're just ready to rock?
Yeah, no, I'm really not weary at all. I mean, it's kind of a cut and dry thing, I'll go and I'll do my best, and I'll either get in the show or I won't. It's like I've overthought it before, and there's really no overthinking it. I mean, I'm fully confident in everything that I've done up to this point, so we'll just see where we're at. It's funny, everything that I've done until now, I mean, there's no more to gain, but in the next few days, it can all kind of go away. With the driving, you gotta make sure the rest is still there, the food's still there, everything's still there over the travels and stuff. So kind of just focus on literally that, and then get there, get rested up, and just be ready to go. I'm hoping they add a track walk for Friday, so I don't have to be at the stadium at like 6:30 for it on Saturday.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be nice. But no, it's honestly just keeping things as relaxed as possible. Just once I get off the phone with you guys, I mean, typical privateer life, just go load up the van and just relax, sit on the couch, just literally relax and be ready to go for the race. So keep all my energy and be ready.
Yeah, this year we got a day race this year at Detroit. So 3 p.m. Gate drop time
on the big NBC.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good one for the viewers during the day. We're racing during the day, but obviously we'll be checking in. So what do you got for sponsors? You want to shout out your sponsors?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, you guys, I'm really happy with everything we've got going. Shoot, you brought me up some eggs yesterday, part of the sponsor. No, I'm just kidding, but that was awesome.
Gotta keep you energized.
Shoot, I was so hungry on the way home from the track yesterday, I almost started eating them raw.
I figured.
No, I'm just kidding. But just you guys, Munson Excavating, which is my dad and my brother back home. Shoot, I definitely wouldn't even be headed to this race if it weren't for them, and even in this position. But them and Power Band Racing, he's got the suspension good. Obviously, I met him through you guys, so thanks for that. Distinguished Radiant back home, Greater Grounds back home in Colorado. iCryo, to feed, just everyone that really helps me out, because honestly, if it weren't for all of them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I cry. I know everyone says that, but shoot, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't even be where I'm at with my knee. I had that ACL surgery, year and a half ago now, so they helped me recover from that. I probably wouldn't even have raced Supercross last year to even be able to race the 450 class this year. So grateful for everyone and just ready to go represent them and go racing.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. So, quickly, there's a lot of questions on this. Explain how you're able to ride 450 this year.
So it all came down to Salt Lake last year. I had to make a night show in the 250 class first.
Yeah, that's a big discrepancy with everybody. Is they're like, well, can't you just go in and race 450? No, you got to race 250. You got to make a night show before you can go to 450. But I just want you to explain that, just so everybody understands. Obviously, we understand, but so everybody else understands how it actually works.
Yeah. I mean, like, of course, you see, like Prado came over and went straight 450, but he's also an MXGP champion. So that, I believe in the rule book, it states if you have your MXGP license, that's another way. Or it even says at the bottom of the rule that special circumstances they can allow.
Yeah.
Just like really anything, it's kind of their call. But for just someone like myself and the majority of people, you go through the 250 class, you got to get into the night show at least once, and then you can move 450. So I was really wanting to get the night show last year by Nashville so that I could go to Denver and do the 450 class, but I wasn't able to make that happen, so we had to do it in Salt Lake.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. I do have a question for you too. There's been a lot of banter this week with regards to some privateer stuff and what a privateer is and what a privateer isn't. And that's not really the question, but it led me to think about you, and you are the essence of the true privateer, the van life guy. And what does you're going to get in your van tomorrow and you're going to drive to Detroit? Do you stop on the way? Do you drive straight through? What does it look like for a guy that's going straight out of his van to these races? Travel wise, eating wise, resting wise.
It's honestly just, what it looks like is doing the best to keep it simple and a very packed van. I'm a lot different than most. I'll have my bicycle set up in my van so that no matter if it's snowing, raining on the road, I'll be able to ride it to get the blood flowing in the middle of the drive. But and that's no secret. I mean, I posted about it before. I definitely will spin on the road, but then I'll make everything food wise, be ready to go, so I don't have to stop for that. And then we'll stop on the drive. It's like 15 hours from Florida, so get some rest tomorrow night and finish up Friday morning. So we'll have plenty of time to get there. We don't need to be there until Friday midday, anyways. But yeah, it just takes a little bit of planning ahead, thinking ahead, especially with just making sure you have everything, have everything you'll need. But it's not bad. It's just part of the deal, It's don't have the factory ride, so I'm not going to sweat it and just do my best with what I got. I kind of like the privateer program a little bit too, because you get the freedom of doing your thing. You're not, you're driving. You get to see stuff. You get to just relax, do your thing instead of, and of course it'd be nice to fly, but is what it is. So
you definitely get a lot of windshield time. And so after the race, do you have to come back home and then wash everything? Do you get any training, riding kind of in for the week, and then you turn around and go back to the next one?
Yeah, so for this one, obviously I don't plan to do Glendale because it's so far to the west. I didn't even realize how far it was until I looked, but it's like really far. So I plan to just come home. Just to answer your question on when it does come to the back-to-back ones, yes, we leave right after the race on Saturday and get on the road, and then get home Sunday and get everything cleaned, get rested up, and then train as much as the body really will allow Monday through Wednesday to be back on the road Thursday. So definitely get some training in during the week. It's not just like a idle week or anything like that. We still train and try to just keep keep the body going, keep everything going. Like I said earlier, there's not a ton to gain, which it's very cliche, and everyone says that there's not anything really to gain once you're at this point, just maintain. So, yeah, I'll just come home, get everything cleaned up right away, and get rested and ready to get back to it on Monday.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think that's something Derek and I definitely want to cover this year and highlight is that kind of that privateer journey, what it looks like, and coming from two guys who appreciate it. You see the riders do it, but you don't see the people around them. What they like, it'd be great to see how Josie handles, working with you and the people you have helping you, and what it looks like for us being at the races. So I think that's something Derek and I definitely want to show.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's in a position where it's like we take advantage of everything or every time we do get to hang out because it gets to the point, where I've got so much to do and so much going on that it's like really we only see each other in the evenings because her day's off. I gotta do my bike work and train and just everything that goes along with it. But it's nothing major. I've been doing it for even when I was my last few years as an amateur. I was doing it all on my own, so or all the work of everything on my own. So it's nothing new. I've been doing it this way ever since I met her too. So it's just kind of the way it goes.
Well, Derek, you're the better racer of the two of us sitting here. You got any last words of wisdom?
No, you get used to that kind of stuff. It's just it's a lifestyle. I mean, you're on the road, and it just becomes normal. So it's extremely important to have somebody that backs you behind it. Obviously, relationships are an important part of life, but if you have somebody that's not backing you, it just makes it that much harder. But with a good support system, I mean, it's definitely a lot harder than it seems, and the whole privateer thing is a very complicated style of racing. But like you said, we'd like to show that a lot this year and just give some in-depth behind-the-scenes stuff of what it's actually like. So we're pumped for you. Obviously, we're going to be there. We'll be there throughout the whole season. So we're excited to get this thing underway and can't wait.
Yeah. I'm excited. Whether it takes all season like it did last year to get in the night show, or we get it done this time, just gonna keep working. So no matter what, we'll be giving it our best.
Yeah, well, we're pumped.
Yeah, man, we're excited. We're gonna be on the road first thing in the morning as well, and we're about 3.5 hours behind you. So where we are, so the old folks are gonna stop at some point and probably grab a hotel, and then we're gonna get to do what you're doing. We're gonna live the privateer life, and we're gonna get to the track sometime on Friday as well, and hang out. And Michelle and I have to somehow get a 10-mile run in on Friday. I guess we're gonna take turns at the treadmill at our hotel.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, or just have someone drive 10 miles while the other one runs, and then swap.
Yeah.
Make some ground.
I don't know if I want to do that in downtown Detroit in 36-degree weather.
Why don't you just pull over to the side of the road and one of you get out and you can.
On your drive up is what I meant.
Yeah. One of you get out, you follow
interstate.
beside her, and then she can get in and follow beside you, then jump in. It's over with.
Well, like I told her, our main focus is we're there for Rylan.
Yeah.
We'll get our stuff in when we're done dealing with Rylan on Friday. So
you'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
But
It all gets done pretty early on Friday. I don't like sitting around being there all day anyways. I like getting it done and getting back and resting. So you guys will have plenty of time.
Perfect.
But
Well,
I'm sure I'll end up seeing you on the drive. We'll meet up and drive up together.
yeah,
So
we'll probably cross over at some point. I'll give you a couple checks as to where you are and where we are, and we'll get it all ironed out.
cool.
it'll be fun. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm not going to this one, but it'll be all good. We're racing this weekend, so we know you're busy. You got a lot to pack up, a lot to prepare for. So I'll let you go do your thing. But it was nice to get you on here for a little bit, little pregame show.
Yeah,
And,
for sure. Super cool.
I'll give
Thanks
some
for having me.
updates throughout the day. I know like Trey will be there giving some updates, but all of our social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. While we're racing, I plan to give some updates while we're while you go. So
Yeah.
Trey will send it down, and we'll get it out there so everybody knows what's going on. But watch for Rylan at probably Group C qualifying.
Yep,
And
it'll definitely be Group C.
yeah, and you can watch that live on Race Day Live, and yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I'm excited.
Man,
Yeah, like we said earlier, it'll be early in the day rather than what it's been later. So.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what this is all about, and we are excited to support you and look forward to this journey. So we don't want to hold you up. We know you got stuff to pack up and probably some laundry to get washed up and cleaned up and ready to roll.
Yep, exactly right.
Looking forward to seeing the kit. That's what the kids call it, right? The kit.
Yep.
We're getting to look forward to see the kit and on Saturday morning and going through this journey. So, Rylan, thank you for joining us. Derek, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. We'll see you on Saturday. Well, I won't, but we'll be watching from here, cheering you on. And then, well, like I said, we'll update everybody. So.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Have fun doing the rest of this episode.
Yeah, will do.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Talk to you later, guys. See ya.
Well, guys, that was Rylan Munson, the rider we're helping out this year, and Derek and I are going to be at most of the rounds he races, and his first one is this weekend, so going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting, but Derek and I need to cover what happened this past weekend because we actually had a dry race with some excitement.
Yeah, things a little backwards here. So obviously talking about the next week, but yeah, going to last week, dry round, A2 did not disappoint. I know how against the Triple Crowns you are, but I'm sorry, this is probably the best Triple Crown we've ever had.
I cannot lie, I enjoyed this one.
It was good.
I enjoyed it.
3 different winners in both classes. Futures did not disappoint at all. That was probably the highlight of all the racing.
I didn't get to see any of the future stuff, but who ended up winning that?
That was Cole Davies.
Okay.
And then Gavin Towers, he's actually from roughly right around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we're from. Same vicinity, within an hour and a half. Those two just absolutely battled it out the entire time, pass after pass after pass. I mean, I swear to God, it was probably some of the best racing I've ever seen.
How did the Canadian superstar do, Ryder McNabb?
I didn't even. I watched him a little bit, but I'm not sure how he finished.
Okay. Because I know this is his journey.
Yeah, I kept the top 3 in my head, but the racing was so good between the top 2 that you almost lost sight of what happened in the back of the pack.
Awesome.
So,
Well, dude, there is a lot to cover here. Let's jump in to the 250s. We'll just cover 250s first, go through all 3 of them because
it's the easiest way to do it.
So 250s, Levi Kitchen, all of a sudden he jumps on. I mean, he won this race last year on a Yamaha, but he won this race this year and literally had pretty consistent scores, a 1, 2, and a 3. I mean,
yeah, I mean he's been doing really well. Just even the past 2 rounds alone, he's really got it together.
Yeah.
He's looks really happy, really smooth on the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Yeah, he pulled the whole shot, took the win, and like I said, I think he's really going to be a force to be reckoned with this year.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from him. Okay, real quick, Joe Shimoda.
More problems for Shimoda.
Thank God he had 2 good ones, but he still can't start. He's coming like from back of the pack to do this stuff. I mean, he had a ninth, a third, and a second, but the ninth I was like, with 2 laps to go, he was like 12th.
Yeah, I'm thinking at this point he just needs some confidence. I think all these spills are really weighing on the confidence side for him. And now, he's new team, new bike, so he had to come in with that. And then he's got all these issues on top of that. I think it's really weighing on him at this point, so he's overthinking a lot of things and making a lot of mistakes, and hopefully he can turn it around because he's a very fast rider, but he's just not shining right now.
The pressure, I think there was a whole bunch of pressure coming in as the replacement for the Lawrences.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of pressure on that. I think they are having some start issues because if you look at the factory Honda bikes, they're having start issues. they're not getting great starts.
Yeah.
But yeah, he salvaged because I mean the last race he finished second. Like he salvaged a good weekend.
Yeah.
But the man, it is a battle. What about this French guy, Bourdon, whatever you want to call him? I mean, he is not only finished sixth this round, he's top 5 in points.
Yeah. Good ride now to him. They didn't show him a whole lot the last few rounds.
No.
You heard the name here and there. I honestly, like, I've heard of him, but I didn't pay much attention. And then this round, he come out swinging
On a Bar X Suzuki.
Yeah.
Like he's on a Suzuki. I know everybody makes fun of him, but he's running. He had an 8th, a 6th, and an 8th.
Oh, I was watching the race and I seen that bike. And I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
It didn't dawn on me, and then it did. And right before they mentioned his name, I hardly remembered his name. I remember the it wasn't a hype about him coming in, but I knew he was coming over. But he's really putting on a show. So
Who else? I want to talk about Nate Thrasher. By the way, his interviews, he looks like somebody off The Office to me. Little mustache. He's just kind of. He's real mellow.
he doesn't look like like last year, really kid-like,
Yeah.
baby face. He doesn't really have that now.
No.
It's like he grew up in a year.
I was listening to the interview and I wasn't watching the TV. I was listening and I look up and I'm like, huh. I did not picture that. Like he could sit down at a bar, order a beer, and have a conversation about the economy with you. It's just kind of like, hey man, what do you think about the Lions?
Well, there's a lot of hype around Thrasher coming into this round. He wins last weekend. Didn't look too bad in the first main. Race 2, him and Smith got together on the start.
Yeah.
Which kind of really screwed things up for him. I mean, I guess it did, and he still placed third overall.
Yeah.
But
I don't think the 10th helped though.
no, it definitely was detrimental to the night. And then Jordan Smith, not to get off the topic of Nate Thrasher, but Jordan Smith goes down again.
Yeah.
In the second race, and it's Kitchen and Hampshire were at each other's throats in race 1. Kitchen just takes the win right at the finish line, and then we reverse roles in race 2, and RJ just takes the win.
Yeah, but how about we all get on RJ for RJ things, but how about the veteran with a massively veteran move at the last corner?
Oh yeah.
I am going to go as slow as I can. I know you want to turn down. We'll stall here before I let you turn down.
No, it was a good move, and then he held his ground the whole way.
Yeah.
You could tell Levi was just fighting,
Yeah.
and RJ did well holding him off. I think that's a lot of the veteran experience, just the race experience in general. You could tell it was almost like a Cooper Webb. He was he was reading Kitchen pretty well, but he holds him off, takes the win. And then he jumped into main 3 and then heat race 3, and it went downhill.
He did RJ things.
Yeah, ate a tough block. I mean, it wasn't a hard wreck, but it was a pretty cool looking wreck. It looked like it was a lot worse than it was, but kind of screwed himself pretty hard on that one. He still ended up seventh in that race.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he easily could have taken the win had he held it together, but he didn't. So.
But what a great night for points for him. He gains on Jordan Smith. I know Levi gets the red plate, but so going into I guess Glendale will be their next round. It'll be Levi and Jordan with the number 1 or the red plate.
Yeah,
but only 8 points back now is RJ.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a battle till the end. Obviously they don't get the full 17 rounds, so it's a little bit harder on the 250 side. But it's I think it's going to be pretty close the whole rest of the season for them. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Thrasher takes the win in race 3, and I do think that he's got about 20 points. He's 5 down from the lead right now. What not 20 points, sorry. What's Nate got overall?
Nate's only got 50. He's 34 down because the first 2 rounds.
That's
the
right.
first 2 rounds
he we thought he broke a collarbone or something in the first
in
round.
A1, over that table, that little kicker tabletop.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So that does put him. I pretty pretty much think that puts him out of the points hunt. When you're that many points down, in 450, it's doable.
Yeah.
250s, it's not. But
the one who took a big points hit was Garrett Marchbanks.
yeah, I love the helmet or the goggle throw at Hunter Yoder.
He did not have a good night. I mean, he went 6-16-5 for 9th overall, and the 16 is what hurt. I mean, but even the 6th and the 5th, he has shown that he's been better than that. He 7th, 3rd, 2nd, and 9th. Well, maybe the 2 mud races were his best.
Yeah.
Maybe on the dry track, maybe that's where the heaviness of him comes in.
He's still doing really well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think significantly better than we've really ever seen out of him. He's been with Club MX for a long time.
But he also wants to win that title, and right now, being 14 points out, that's going to cause a problem.
It is. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's not impossible right now. There's still a lot of racing left for them. Not near as much as the 450s, but there's a lot of racing left for them. So we'll see what he can do. Actually, like I said, he's looking really well this year, so it's very, very possible that he could come out of nowhere. And the way that the top of the pack has been running, I mean, they've been running well, but they've been going down a lot. So we'll see what happens.
I got 2 more riders I want to touch on. One, Phil Nicoletti. The guy is an old man in this class, and he had a 15th. Nope, I got that wrong. Sorry, a 7th, a 4th. Dude, he was running so good in the second race.
Yeah, he's getting so close to that podium he's never had,
Yes.
and usually something happens. But he's always been very good. A good mid-pack rider.
Yeah.
Obviously, never a podium guy in his entire career, but
Outdoors, he has a podium.
yes, it's Supercross. But
Yeah.
he's getting there more this year than he ever has.
Yeah, and but then he has a 18th in the 3rd moto, and it's like, dude, like a 7th and a 4th puts you pretty good.
Yeah, his consistency is always very off.
But he and Marchbanks, they went 9th and 10th. So Club MX for those great shows, all of a sudden they're backside.
Yeah, but they're a lot of guys aren't Triple Crown guys, so
yeah,
it's hard to tell what's gonna come once we get some dry tracks that aren't Triple Crown. We get a normal race. I think he's probably on a pretty good path to get that podium this year.
I hope so. He puts in he's got his rhythms, and that he's not breaking that.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, the way that the top of the pack keeps putting themselves on the ground, I think that puts him in a good position for achieving that podium goal. That's really his only goal.
Yep.
So.
And we need to give a shout out to Slade Varola, the local team with the California rider, HBI.
Very true.
But Slade put it in through the LCQ.
Yep.
I guess at some point during qualifying, did he bust his mouth
Yeah,
or something?
it looked like he chin area, like the lip, he broke his face open. Just put it that way. Had to get some stitches at the track, but he still went out, put it in the LCQ, and
got points.
Made the main event. So it's all that matters.
Yeah, got points, and congratulations to HBI for getting it in, and that makes 2 main events for Slade this year, and that's awesome. Right now he is 20th in points, which that's huge right now because it's going to be overall, but you want to be in that top 20. So
well, for a guy coming, for SMX that's big, but for a guy coming straight from Futures, first year on the 250 Pro wise, he's doing really well, especially for the small local team that HBI is. They're accomplishing big goals. So.
Well, I'll say this. This is my last comment on the 250s. There is a lot of talk about Joe Shimoda can't put together championship stuff, but when the pressure's off, he starts shining.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got 54 points. He's 30 points down from the leaders right now. He's not going to win the championship, but we're going to have a week off, maybe a little regroup. We're going to be indoors at Glendale, so we know the dirt's going to be good.
Yeah. Like I said, if he can get some confidence, go out and get a win even, I think we might see a new Joe if they can figure out the bike.
Yeah.
Him and the bike just aren't jiving, and then you got a lot of confidence issues. I really believe with him. If they can get all that worked out, I mean they're already running out of time to do that.
Yeah.
But if they can hash those issues out, I think the latter part of the season will be a lot brighter for Joe Shimoda.
What about anybody else that you want to touch on?
No, I think that pretty much does it for the 250s. Like I said, good racing, 3 different winners, 3 different races. We got our local HBI guy in there. Hopefully this weekend shines. I can't wait to see the west or the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, because we have Hayden Deegan coming.
Yeah, it's not so much that, just the racing in general.
We got the purple plate with the yellow numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
But
whatever color that is.
It's yellow to me. Some people are calling it green, but it's definitely yellow.
It's like Grimace and Big Bird on on a number plate.
Puke. But no, it'll be fun to see them. Hopefully we get the action we've been getting from the West Coast, and we'll see those guys again in Glendale.
I wonder if there's any 250 guys that are kind of on the backside of the rankings. I wonder if we'll see any of them pop over and hop into the 450 class.
That's what I was just going to bring that up. I haven't heard of anybody going to the 450s just for the seat time, really.
Yeah, because it's not going to be any of your factory guys. Not going to.
No, they
none
can't.
Of those.
They can't take the risks for the most part. But I haven't heard anything, so I guess
we'll see.
This weekend will tell.
Did we get the return of Jeremy Martin this weekend?
I don't know. He's in the pictures.
Okay.
So I want to say yes, but like I said, I thought he was done.
Enzo Lopes?
I haven't heard of Enzo either.
He's on Star.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You see the pictures of them and the bikes, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have not looked at the East Coast lineup yet. Yeah. Everything's been too hectic on our end of things, so I'm anxious to see who's riding and see how everybody's performing.
Well, 450s. I'm going to tip a hat that I don't have on today to the old man veterans for getting it done this weekend. The old men veterans were on it.
The Star Yamaha puts it on top.
Ooh.
But no, it was good racing in the 450s too. Also 3 different winners.
Yeah.
3 different races. Jet's got some Sexton issues going on by the looks of it.
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and touch on that. We'll get to the social media stuff and all that, but let's get to this. Jet tried to kill himself the entire race down the right side of the whoops. I mean, he crashed and saved it multiple times until he finally didn't.
Yeah.
He's a smart, savvy racer. Why did he keep doing that?
I mean, he was blazing them things when he was on it.
But if he got off at all, he was kicking sideways and everything.
So the mentality, maybe like it is that much faster, but you're taking risks that you don't need to take. Mentally, like you would think he's better. You would think he's better than that. I mean, and he shows that he's better than that. He makes some very smart decisions, but he wasn't.
How about the walk off the bike with the first crash when he cut left and he just ran off the bike? And I'm like, dude, no one crashes like that.
I believe there's some stuff going on in his head too. The whole HRC team is having some mental issues this season, and there was a huge, they had by far their best season last year in history, and now it's between the pressure, those two. The Lawrence brothers jumping into the 450 class, I don't want to say that that's like a shock because they knew they were going there. They've raced these guys before. I mean, Jet's on top of the world, so I think that maybe the hype got to him. Now he's having a few issues, and it's really mentally weighing on him pretty hard.
And so far, I've been proven right. I had the question, what happens when he gets in the middle of the pack? Can he work his way through? And so far, he has not been able to work his way through the pack.
No, he has not.
And he is faster. He is faster. He just struggles. Now, I will say the last race, I think it was the last one, he was coming until he crashed.
Most of the time, he was the fastest rider on the
Yeah.
track. But for some reason, him of all people, he's by far the smoothest rider out there. I don't think that there's anybody that can ride as smooth as Jet Lawrence, but collectively, he's not putting it together.
Yeah.
He's just making mistake after mistake, and I think it's really going to be detrimental to his season if he stays on this route.
Yeah, it's just not, and I don't know. I mean, when was the last time we had a guy that was so loved? 3 months ago. I mean, loved. Everybody loved him. Now he's getting booed.
Yeah, which is mind blowing to me. Like I'm still.
I mean, Vince Freeze got booed.
Yeah,
but so
for
did
good reasons.
But so did
yeah, so did Jet.
Jet.
That's the whole social media hype. But it is wild that you hear that because he was the absolute sensation. I mean, he still is to a lot of people, but it's just the headspace. I mean, you can't be picking fights. You can't be as cocky as you have been. I mean, these guys are good that you're racing with. So
it's lit a fire. I mean, I will tell you, I believe Jason Anderson said, "I now have something to prove."
Yeah.
I mean, he's been riding good already. I mean, Jason Anderson
but now it's working.
He's 6th in points, and he has a 2nd, a 12th, a 5th, and a 4th overall.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's working. Whatever that fire is, if that's what it took to get Anderson up on the podium, then that's what it took. But unfortunate event that he wasn't on the podium this weekend. Logistically, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, let's run through because I think there's some great storylines. Cooper Webb, one. I like the gear. I really like the yellow gear.
It looked like a hazmat suit. Latex gloves.
I thought it was good looking.
Yeah.
I like the yellow. I kind of like that.
The first thing I thought, I'm looking at him, I'm like, that's a hazmat suit.
I can go with you on that. That's good. But how do you? Okay, beyond our opposing fashion views, how do you feel about his riding this weekend?
No, he looked good. Consistent. You could tell he wanted it.
Yeah,
he wanted it. He was hungry. It was never didn't even. I mean, this is the difference in the Triple Crown. Did not take a win. Takes a 2.25, and still takes the win.
Yeah.
It shows the different element of the Triple Crown, and it proves that it's not the first time that a non-winner has won a Triple Crown. So consistency is key. But he was, I think the rider that had the most drive this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his overalls, he's 6th, 11th, 2nd, and 1st. He's had dry race 6th, wet race 11th, wet race 2nd, dry race 1st. So he's putting it together. He's 3rd in points. He is right now. He's in that position. The silent assassin is ready to assassinate.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 6 points out of the lead, and we're gonna get to the leader. What about Tomac? Welcome back, Tomac.
Yeah, I mean, we can honestly I'm glad to see Tomac got a win. I was going to get to that once you go down through the races themselves. So back it up just a little bit. Malcolm Stewart takes qualifying, and that boy looked like I expected big things out of him this weekend because he was on rails, doing jumps that a lot of the guys weren't doing, and just smooth and consistent. So I say that Cooper Webb was probably the guy that had the most drive for this weekend in the races themselves. But in qualifying, I would have put my money on Malcolm. I know it's kind of hard for him to keep it together. Usually there's some unfortunate circumstances that keep him off the podium step, but he's still hunting for that win. But he looked really, really good.
And right now he's kind of far away. I mean, he did have 2 top 10s this weekend out of the 3 races. He went 11-10-9. So had they had 8 more races, he may have gotten a win.
If he can just keep it up, I mean, I think he's still trying to recover from last season where he had a lot of these issues. He gets it on the podium, and he's still driving for that win. He's like another AP.
Yeah.
And I do think it's coming, but he's got to keep that bike on 2 wheels, and that's usually where he struggles.
Can we, since we're on, can we also throw in the other Husqvarna rider, Christian Craig.
I,
Dude, he is a. This was his kind of track.
so my wife and I were talking. We're pretty adamant Craig fans because we obviously race with his son once in a while. We see them quite a bit. My wife loves his wife. Um, I don't know what's going on with him.
Is it still a recovery process? Is it just getting seat time, race time?
I don't know. Like he's got the race experience. Like
Yeah.
it's not like he's a rookie coming into this. He is struggling big time. I mean, 14th is one of the better positions for him this year.
Yeah, but it's not the races within the race. Yeah, the 14th was fine, but the race was within the race. At midway through the first race, he was like 21st.
Yeah, he's never up where he should be. But it's also I don't think it's all him though either. Like the field is also that stacked.
Yeah.
So, there's he really shined last year when he could, um, when the field was depleted, just a little bit. And then like the year before that, he was in his last year 250 was just a rock star year.
Yeah.
So you think coming into 450s, he's a really really fast guy. I don't want to say he had the hype of Jet Lawrence, but there's a lot of hype around him when he come into 450.
Well, because he had done so well on his guest appearances
Yeah.
on the 450.
And he looked really really good, but I still think there's some issues maybe with the recovery or whatever's going on there. But there's also some seriously stiff competition.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not sure which is really playing the bigger role there, but something's off with Christian Craig.
And I look up through the results, and I don't know where he could slot in. Like, I feel like possibly he's at a level of a Hunter Lawrence, Malcolm, but not. I mean, it's going to be tough for him to get. He's going to have to do more to get up there further.
Yeah.
So that's that valid point. Justin Hill, I really thought dry track, jumpy, rhythms. Justin Hill was, hey, we're gonna see a Justin Hill sighting, and a 15th.
Yeah, just he's not really not really hitting those marks this year.
No.
He's a veteran of the sport for sure. Still got it at the age he's going,
and he's a smooth dude.
Yeah, everything about him, he's always been a top tier guy. But he's like another Christian Craig level. Something's not clicking this year.
Man, I want to talk about Ken Roxon. Great I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be fun tonight. This is gonna be fun. Ken podium in the first one.
Steadily downhill the rest
man.
of the way.
I mean, the third one, he got it. He went ejecto mundo at one point, and it's like, this is over.
Yeah. So the race 3, Anderson clips him on the start, which did not help his night at all.
No.
But he just he fought back, but he just didn't fight back like old Kenny does. There was a lot of talk this year about if you're going to put your money on somebody, it needs to be Ken Roxon.
I still think because he's showing the speed.
Yeah, there
on a straight 20-minute main. I think he's okay.
Yeah, if we can, I think kind of like the Malcolm, if he can stay away from the inevitable crashes and stuff like that. Ken's definitely a top 5 guy. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about it.
Well, you're gonna get to see him shine, I believe, at Daytona. I mean,
oh yeah,
he did one motocross round last year, and was the second fastest guy on the track.
Yeah.
And Daytona, as much as it is a supercross now, it's got an outdoor feel. The dirt has an outdoor feel, so you'll see him shine there.
But yeah, as much as we're jumping around, go back to race 2. Prado finally on his last race finally pulls his hole shot that he wanted.
Yeah, that was a cluster of a hole shot, though.
It was really really close.
I don't know who got what because they were bumping and banging.
He did get the hole shot. But he finally gets that hole shot that he wanted, which was great to see. I think, like I said, I think last week we talked, we'll see him all next year.
Yeah. Did he prove it? Did he prove that he can, if he goes this year, does his MXGP, did he prove that he can come in and learn it?
I think definitely, but to answer that question, but I think that if he actually dedicates his time to nothing but Supercross, um, he'll come in swinging.
Yeah.
He for never really riding Supercross and just jumping into it because he wants to do it. A little bit of training, but when you dedicate your riding
Yeah.
to Supercross, I think he's probably be a pretty top tier contender.
Well, he went 12.8.15 for the thing, and what's crazy is he's leaving. He's leaving. Bye bye. See you later. I did 4 rounds. He's top 10 in points right now.
Yeah.
Like he's in it. He's in it, and you finished top 10 in points in Supercross, pretty legit.
And if he didn't have other obligations,
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be leaving. I don't know which one pays more, but
I think that number one plate pays a lot for those guys.
i if you know you're going to get the number one plate, I would imagine that that's probably the better option.
And he's going to run the number one plate this year.
Yeah.
I did hear
It's not just that. I've got
yeah,
a
he's
good
going to
feeling
run it,
that
and
he'll get it back.
I heard the other guy that won the 250 class, Adamo, is not running the number one plate because he's a little nervous that he's not going to be able to back it up.
Mm.
But Prado's like, number one plate.
Yeah.
I got it.
So we'll, best luck to him. But this is not the last that we're going to see him on the American field.
So the quote that I didn't hear many quotes from anything that happened this weekend, but the one quote I did hear from Prado was, dude, they asked him what he thought of the Triple Crowns. He goes, I got my ass kicked, but I had a blast.
Yeah.
I had a blast because he didn't have the best races. I mean, he had a top 10 in one and then a 12th and a 15th, but he said I had a blast.
See, I think racing wise, like the Triple Crown format would be fun. You don't have not a lot of breaks in between. You're still amped up the whole night.
Yeah.
It's just race after race after race. So get just enough time to rest and catch your breath, and you're back out doing it again. So I think from a racer standpoint, like if I got to race Supercross, I think I'd want to jump into a Triple Crown.
So we're talking about race 2, and Sexton, he wins the first one, finished the second in the last one. He really screwed his night in the second one.
Yeah, that messed him up pretty good.
But he looked good. He
really looked good all day.
Yeah.
Just smooth, consistent. He really hasn't had any big issues. So you got to give him one.
And I guess when he hopped on this bike, the KTM, I guess it was not smooth sailing at the beginning, and they have really worked hard to kind of get
the bike to where he wanted it.
And he's done it now in dry and wet.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, that's where you kind of prove like we got something.
Yeah. No, he's obviously the top guy. I don't see that changing this year.
Yeah.
They'll have that bike all dialed in. I think they pretty much have it dialed in at this point. He looks so much better than last year, even though he came out with the championship.
Yeah.
Obviously he still had his issues, but I think as they progress here, the bike will keep getting smoother, and he's just gonna look that much smoother on that bike. So, but the Anderson and Webb battling it out was a good race.
Yeah.
Awesome to see Anderson get the win, despite all the drama that's been happening the last week.
And he seemed to handle it just fine.
Yeah, he's a rough and tough guy. I mean, he might say that he's staying out of that stuff, but he never does. He's always in it.
Well, his words threw a couple punches this week.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He may not want to, scuffle, but his words scuffled.
Oh yeah. He's got a way with words,
Yeah.
and he's not the guy to back down from a fight. So,
but no, I was happy to see him up there. He's quietly having a decent season. He's 6th in points, but he's having some good goes.
Yeah.
He's been on the podium twice. Well, he lost the podium because he got busted for accelerating off the track.
Yep.
But he would have had the podium.
To me, he didn't gain an advantage there.
Nope, but the rule is you cannot accelerate.
Yeah, and he skipped a whole section, which there was nobody close to behind him.
Yeah.
And there was nobody that he caught in front of him. But yeah, rolls are rolls. I actually just did a TikTok on this morning about Webb not doing his interview.
Yeah.
After so I think it's like 1.6.13 of the roll book. I explained this in the TikTok, but it's very a lot of people don't understand that these guys are obligated to do interviews when asked. It's a job. These guys race for a living. This is their job. It's like you going to work and um, not obeying a direct order or something of that nature. If you're told to do something, you're going to do it. It's the same concept with these guys. They can be penalized if they don't do what they're supposed to do. I know he was sick or whatever, but
Is that why he skipped the interview?
that's there's all kinds of rumors about it. I really don't know why he actually skipped it.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't feeling well, but he did the press conference just fine. Maybe he was thrown up after the second race, but regardless, you have to do that. Even if you got on there and be like, yeah, good race, I took the win, blah 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 blah. Get off of there, in and out. At least you did it. But like I said, these guys are obligated, and it's their job to do these interviews. The top three have to do the press conference. If they're pulled over to do any kind of interview within that stadium, they have to do it, or there is penalties.
And we'll go back to Anderson getting penalized. And then there was a hubbub because Hunter did not get penalized. Well, it's very clear. Jason sped up. Hunter did not.
Yes.
And that's the rule. It's as long as you do not accelerate, you're fine. You can roll through.
You got to coast.
You just cannot accelerate. And they're on plywood. You can tell if they accelerate.
Oh yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, and they watch these guys like hawks, and there's cameras everywhere, so there's really no getting away with anything.
But second moto, I was happy to see Anderson get a win, and then Cooper finished second. So it's shaping up like we're like, okay, we're gonna have a battle to the end, and we moved to Moto 3, and the old man with 3 kids, or I don't know if he has 3 now, but he's got 2 for sure, pops out and.
He did what he needed to do. The hype that's the question, not even the hype, the question of can he still do it?
Yeah.
He did it. He did it with authority, really. Went out, took the lead early, right off the bat, and then just rode away with it like the normal Tomac that we like to see.
And then quietly, we haven't even touched on him yet. The points leader finishes third that moto.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was he in third or did someone go down and he ended up in third? Well, Jet fell, right?
Jet fell.
Yeah, because Jet was coming.
Yeah, Jet went down again.
Yeah.
AP was looking good though.
Yeah. I think he was going to get fourth no matter what.
Yeah, like I told you last week, I think the confidence was going to do him well, and he did. He had a few mishaps, but he rode very, very consistently.
Yeah.
6, 4, and 3.
Yeah.
So he's right there, and usually consistency is what wins these championships. So I think he's.
Well, so far he has
he's in a good running to keep it.
A fifth, a first, and a third.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about consistency, this is the Dungey playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Don't finish outside the top 5. Your worst is a fifth, and you just keep plugging away.
Yeah, as long as he keeps riding like that, I don't see an absolute problem with it.
Yeah, and he has the number 1 plate, and he has a 4-point lead over second. And Sexton, like you said, is the fastest, but he's had a third, a first, an 8th, and a 5th. And what's going on? Like, and he's fine. I don't think is there a worry for Sexton for you?
No.
No.
From going to a new bike that he's been with Honda for a long time.
Yeah, since he was a little kid.
Yeah. So for jumping on a new bike, new team, and everything they've been hashing out with that bike to get that, they're just getting at that Honda feel.
Yeah.
I think he's actually doing better than I expected. I didn't expect him to even be in the championship hunt on a new bike, if I'm being 100% honest. But he's there.
Well, I think it's pretty cool in the 450 class. After 4 rounds, the top 5 are only separated by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. Tomac all of a sudden jumps back up into the top 5 in points.
Yep.
But right behind there, look at there's this quiet Dylan Ferrandis is still 7th in points.
Yeah, and you're not hearing a lot about him.
No.
But
he's just quietly having a week, you know.
you truthfully don't see. I did see him getting a couple little scuffles in some of the races this weekend, but it's still very, very quiet. But I think going off the points that it's we said from the beginning it's going to be one for the books, and it's shaping up to be that. It's anybody's game right now.
Well, the average yearly winners are 5. Well, we're 4 rounds in and already have 4. Does that mean we only have one more guy that's going to win, and these guys are going to rotate through, or are we going to have 6, 7 winners this year?
I think we're going to see some different winners yet. I still think we got Anderson that's going to come up through.
Does he win a triple crown, or can he win a 20-minute main?
I think he can win a main at the pace that he's going and the way that he's riding. If he can keep it all together and stay away from people,
Yeah.
On a good collective night, I think that he can do it.
And for all the junk that we talk about, Jet Lawrence, he is still 4th.
Jet's still going to come back and take another win.
Yeah.
At least one, probably more than one. Eventually, in my opinion, he's going to snap out of this funk that he's in, get his head right again.
Is he 19 or 20?
20, I believe. Yeah.
So he's just not a teenager anymore, and all of a sudden people don't like you.
Yeah.
And you're
no longer a kid.
Yeah, and people don't like you. You've caused some friction. Like, wait a second, I thought everybody liked me. I'm Jet Lawrence.
Yeah.
And that probably, I know that their story is so intense that he was living on a pool table eating baguettes and that kind of stuff. But all of a sudden he was this darling. He made $13 million last year, is what they're saying, roughly. And all of a sudden, people don't like him. And no matter who you are, being a human is being a human.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having some rough offs. He's having some bad luck. He's making some weird decisions. At least he hasn't run around with blue lights on his car and tried to pull over people.
Yeah.
So,
We ain't going to get into that. But
well, I mean, we're just going to leave it there. But he's not doing that.
No, it's just a bad spot. I mean, like I said, he's going to rebound.
Yeah.
He's still one, if not the fastest guy out there right now. He's still that generational talent that.
Is it generational or generational? How do you guys say it?
Whatever they want to say,
Okay.
the generational talent. But he's still a prodigy. I mean, the kid's extremely fast. He's extremely smooth. There's not many guys that can ride a bike like he can. So
I look forward to, and this is really forecasting. I actually have a question, but I'm looking forward to 2025 Motocross Championship, Jet versus Prado for the outdoor championship.
it'd be interesting.
Could throw down that will be. Oh my goodness gracious!
It'd be interesting.
But my question is this: speaking of the Lawrences, Hunter is up to 11th in points. He has had a rough go. He didn't make it. He had a 10th. He's had a 7th, and he has 11th. What's his ceiling for this year? I say top 5.
I don't know. Yeah, I could probably agree with that.
I don't think he can win this year, but I think he can get a top 5. He's too good.
Hunter is just in a Hunter's got me in a, and I don't know. Like that's just my answer because I don't know what he's good and he's not showing that he's good at all. So it's a weird mixed relationship for me. I can't tell if it's just the 450 and just not quite jiving yet, the power difference or the headspace or what's going on with him. But I do believe he can. I think that within the next few rounds we're going to see him creep up more and more and more. It's just like I said, the whole HRC team is down right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it seems like, and I don't know if that's going to take a team powwow and get them all right back in the right headspace or what. But I do see a top 5. Yeah.
Another name that we missed this weekend, Adam Cianciarulo. Had a little injury.
Breaks his finger. Kind of got me confused a little bit on that one. It's just, is it sitting to the side or can't just tape it up and go race or?
Because he was Freddie Norm's the only rider that competed in all 31 rounds last year.
Mm-hmm.
Second on that list, I think, was Adam, only missing 3 rounds total.
Mm-hmm.
But we're already, he's not having the best of years. He's 12th, 8th, 13th. And I was like, man, he's just going to be consistent this year. I'm sitting on pit lane at Daytona trying to make my picks in between pit stops. And I'm like, where's Adam? Where's Adam? And I can't research it. I don't have time to research it. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I get to rewatch it, and he's out with an injury, and I didn't know if you had heard if it was bad. Am I going to get to see him this weekend?
Yeah, I knew he broke his finger. I didn't expect him to not race because of it. Honestly, you break a finger, you keep riding. I don't know. It's
unless he couldn't hang on.
like I said, unless it's literally like it was a bad break that I was missing something on. But I've done it many times. You tape the things together, or you put them in your gloves. You tape the glove together, and you do what you got to do. But I guess if you can't bend it, you can't hold on. So
what about is he still a rookie? Justin Cooper. He's missed a round, and he's had an 8th, a 14th, and an 8th. Is that good?
I think for him it's pretty good.
Because he was fast qualifier this week.
Yeah, he's got a full stacked field. I don't think he's a top guy.
Okay.
I don't consider him a top 3 guy even.
He did have a 5th and a 6th.
Yeah.
And this
See,
weekend.
I don't see him as a top 3 guy at all. He's fast, extremely fast. I think he could probably put it together for one.
Okay.
If he really had to. I think it would take some guys going down, but I don't see him on top. I don't want to say I want to see him in a first place position. I can see a podium out of him.
Okay.
But it's going to take some unfortunate events for somebody else to get him up there, I think. He qualified fast, yes, but it's the keeping it all together for 20 minutes plus 2. I mean, I don't know. It's pushing it.
Who hasn't won that you think will win? You have let's see. You have
I got
Eli?
Roxon for sure.
Eli, Jason, Roxon, Ferrandis.
So, I guess Tomac didn't win.
He won it. He won.
Yeah, he won
whatever
a
they
race.
call them.
Main 3. Tomac's gonna get a win.
You think so?
For sure.
He's got 20 minutes in him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Tomac's a beast. So I see Tomac. Roxon is a maybe. But if I had to pick one guy, it's going to be Tomac over anybody else.
So I think Anderson gets one. I think Tomac, because he's just still my guy, I think he gets one. Ferrandis is the 4th on the list. Roxon is 3rd on the list for me. But I think if the situation's right, Roxon gets one. I don't,
Oh yeah.
I don't.
So,
it's gonna have to be right, but I just can't. I cannot imagine Eli not getting one on the last season.
no, if I'm putting money on it, it's going to be a Roxon or Tomac. If I had to pick 2 guys, I'm not going to see Ferrandis up there.
Okay.
Top 5 contender, yes. A win, I'm not seeing it.
Can Ferrandis get a podium?
I could see a podium with the right circumstances.
Okay.
But a win is really pushing it. In my eyes.
As you look down the list of the 450 riders, anybody that's underperforming for you this year?
I mean, we already said Christian Craig.
Well, yes.
That's the big one that sticks out for me. Barsha's not really. He's not performing as well as I would expect. Still performing, but not as the typical Barsha.
Hey, 7th. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, he's gone 7th, 17th, 3rd, 13th.
Yeah.
So he needs to finish 11th, and then I guess he could win.
Yeah.
If we go off numbers.
Yeah. So I mean, he gets his podium. Usually he wins one.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see that right now. He's bouncing all over the place. So the 3 was the right circumstances. You know, it wasn't a consistent top 5 that I could see him getting a win or a podium. But he's definitely underperforming to
Okay.
me. He's typically right next to the podium somewhere. He's always within the top 5, and he's not consistently there this year.
Freddie Noren, he's running the number 22. He's got a 21st, a 20th, a 17th, and a 19th. Is it for him with this Mad Parts Bubba Pauly's team? Is it for him just making each round, like just get in, survive? Because he's not a Supercross guy.
No, and he's not on the level of these
No.
other guys.
I think 15th, 12th would be a good.
Yeah, he's a main event guy.
Yeah.
But he's not a top tier main event guy.
But is he performing at the level you think he should? Because right now he's 20th in points.
Yeah, like I said, he's a main event guy. So he's a back of the main event guy. He's pretty much right where I would expect, especially with the field that he's working with.
And Kyle Chisholm is back in 23rd, missing 2 rounds. He's only got an 18th and a 17th in 2 dry races. Are we seeing the end of our Tampa Bay boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured we already seen the end of him. But,
full test mode coming up.
Yeah, testing is, I think, where his heart's at. Racing, I think even when he finally hangs it up, you'll probably see him at a race here and there, just to get the feeling back. But full seasons, I think it's about to be over.
Well, touch on Aaron Plessinger before we get out of here. We're going back to the race that he had the win, and boy, they showed the ejection a couple times during the coverage. So, what do we feel about him going back to Detroit?
I'd like to see him get redemption. He's right there. This year looks better than last. I never would have expected him to be in that position last year. So this year it's looking much more favorable. He's got a little more competition to deal with, but I think he can do it. If he stays on this path and he's clear head, and if he goes in wanting redemption, I think he could pull it off.
My last thing is we're 4 rounds in. I don't remember the last time we were 4 rounds in. Well, I guess we'll be 5 rounds in here. We're 4 rounds in, and we still have the entire top 10 here.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time we had everybody still here?
We are down AC, so I don't know if he'll be back or not. It's not. He's top 10, so
yeah.
I could say we're down 1, but I haven't heard if he's gonna be out or not. But no, it's been a long time since. Typically, we lose somebody.
Yeah.
By now.
So, we'll see. I mean, it's been this one. Yes, I am not. I did not enjoy San Francisco because it was not even a fun race to watch.
No.
San Diego was fun because the track shaped up. Then we go to a Triple Crown. I'm like, I don't even like Triple Crowns, and I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed it. But the problem is, I don't think the other ones can live up to that. I think that was the best the Triple Crowns ever looked.
Yeah, I mean, if we keep the field, it could be in for a shock. This could be the Triple Crown season, the one that changes your mind maybe.
But I think, as most of the riders have said, they like the change-up, but none of them want to do all of them this way.
No.
I think it's fun having a little bit a difference.
Yeah.
You have a mix-up. It's kind of like any race series. You have some tracks that are soft. You have some tracks that are hard. You have road courses that are short, and you have ovals that are long. And I think having a little bit of change-up is
It'd be
good.
wild to do a Triple Crown in like a Daytona or an Atlanta. It'd be rough, but fan standpoint, that would be pretty good.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep. So I'm trying to think of any other thing that they could throw in a wrinkle, and since they do the 20 minutes but I don't know. It's so weird to think of trying to change stuff up in the series. But that was round 4 of 17 or round 4 of 31, however you word it.
However you prefer to look at it.
Yeah, whichever way you want to look at it. This was episode 41 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. We will do everything in our power to be back here Monday to have a full recap of what it was like to be in the privateer pits at a Supercross race. So
it'll be a little hectic from here on out.
Yeah.
But we'll still put it out every week and get some behind the scenes content, and there'll be a lot of new content that we haven't had before. So where we lack on this side, I think we'll make up for it everywhere else.
Where is Schaefer racing this weekend?
Opening round of Dade City
Oh.
Point Series, so we're gonna hit the local track and
Okay.
be a good test on all the bikes and the new bikes, and we got some new suspension from Power Band Racing who came on board with us. So he's taking care of all of our suspension at this point. And
How many brotherly battles are we gonna have this weekend? Will they be racing against one another?
This might be the only weekend that they're racing against each other. The e-bike just went online, and it's time to bring the 65 into the world. So we actually have an agreement on that. So there might be a 65 coming home this weekend, and an e-bike hopefully out the door would be awesome this weekend too. But I think there's going to be some brotherly battling going on this weekend. I'm going to try to get some good video of that because it'll probably be quite a few years before that happens again.
Yeah.
So I agreed to let him race it this weekend. So honestly, so I can see that. It's more of a me thing. He did ask me if he could race it, my oldest. So
Get your popcorn.
yeah, we're gonna let it happen. I'm gonna love every minute of it and watch that. And Billy got the suspension right for us for that thing, so we can race it this weekend and let our 60-pound rider on an MCE 5 do his thing. But it's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Well, very good, and welcome back, Dade City, to another series, another season of motocross at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Like I said, we're going to bounce around some this year, but congratulations to them on their 45th running season.
Wow.
So.
That's amazing. Well, he is Derek Schaefer of DBS Custom Fabrication and Handyman Services. I am Trey Heath with Michelle and Trey Real Estate. We are together Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast, and we will be talking to you weary-eyed next Monday for episode 42 covering Detroit. Y'all have a good week. Bye-bye.
See ya.